Welcome back to another DTB exclusive. Today we will be digging into the origins of the English language and how this language was designed for you to speak spells. Before we jump in, I just ask you guys to smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment below while you're watching the video, at the end of the video, however you do it. And be sure to share this video with others, even people who may not be ready for this information, because you never know how this information can impact them if they, some people just don't know about it because they just don't know. So you're presenting something new to them. I titled today's presentation, The Language of Spells, Unveiling the Hidden Power of English. We'll be digging deep into how English was engineered to enslave the mind. And this is by yours truly, Divine Queen Mother. Real quick before I start, let's go over the word queen. The word queen was originally spelled Quean, and that word actually meant whore. Before I knew about this, I knew about etymology in a very, very low point, but I did not know it in the way that I do now. So before I knew what that word meant, I already had my name, Divine Queen Mother. Now, the word cunt, C-U-N-T, which we know today is a bad word, that word actually means something good. And I'll leave that up to you to go find out what that true definition is of that word. And you guys can leave that down in the comments. So I was thinking, should I change my name from Divine Queen Mother to Divine Cunt Mother? It's so funny, but no, I'm going to keep it Divine Queen Mother for the sake of common knowledge. I don't want to scare people away by changing it to something that they don't really understand. And also, I'm going to leave it that way because at the end of this presentation, I'll tell you how you can pretty much speak with intention to change the frequencies of the spells, because we have no control over being in a system that taught us this language. Without further ado and no more time wasted, let's jump straight in. Most people believe English is just another evolving language, but it was engineered, crafted not for expression, but for control. English is one of the youngest major languages in global history, developed and weaponized through colonization, as with everything else. The word spell itself means to arrange letters to form words and also to cast magical influence. What if every word we speak is a ritual, a command, a binding? It makes complete sense why people say that words have power, because when you're just jabbering and speaking and running off at the mouth without understanding that words hold frequency, you could be cursing others and yourself by speaking a dead language that was intentionally designed for you to speak spells. Let's go over the timeline and how English is a recent invention. This is a fact. More than 60% of English is borrowed, not evolved, and is borrowed from Latin and Greek. It's synthetic by design. Old English from 450 to 1100 CE, a mix of Germanic tribal dialects brought to Britain by the Angles, Saxons, and Jutes. Middle English from 1100 to 1500 CE was influenced by Norman French after the 1066 conquest, merging Latin, French, and Germanic roots. And lastly, we have Modern English from 1500 to present day, and it was standardized by post-Gutenberg press and later solidified by colonial expansion. So they're purposely spreading English all across the world. Everywhere that they colonized now speaks English. I've been personally told by many different foreigners that I've had conversations with that English was one of the hardest languages for them to grasp because it didn't make sense. I have also studied Spanish and French, and I've noticed that most languages don't speak in sentences the same way as we do. English in the legal system, the tongue of enslavement. Maritime admiralty law uses English as its weapon. Terms like birth with an E, dock, court, and charge are nautical and legal in origin. Words like person, citizen, individual are not casual terms. They are legal identities attached to contracts and jurisdiction. The Black's Law Dictionary defines many everyday words very differently than common usage. This is called spellcraft. Spelling, grammar, and curses, the etymological traps. Curse and cursor share the same root, to move energy or place intent. The little mouse thing that you have on your computer where you move things around, that's called a cursor. And you literally are moving energy and placing intent. And those words that we call curse words, are they really curses or do they mean something else? I'll leave that up to you guys to find out. Grammar comes from the Greek, grammatik, linked to grimoire. Grimoire means a book of spells. Sentences are spoken in court and in schools, and both can result in a sentence. What are you really being taught to say? Think about it. Prisoners are held in cells, and our bodies have cells in them while we look at cell phones. It's no wonder that things you speak about, you pick up your phone and then you'll see those things on your phone. Is there some type of biological or biometric data that's being linked between the human thoughts and the cell phone? Or am I just thinking a little too deep? Over the next few slides in this presentation, we'll be going deep into some commonly used word spells. I'll be going over the origins of these words and the original meanings, and it'll make sense, a whole lot of sense, as to why they are positioned the way they are, these words specifically. Submit, from Latin. Sub means under, plus mittere, which means to send. This literally means to send yourself under something. Submission is energetic consent. Application, from Latin, applicare, to attach or bind. Every time you apply, you bind yourself to someone else's system. You're not requesting, you're contracting. And it's funny that they say you have to submit your application. Employment. Employ comes from Latin, implicare, which means to entangle or involve. To be employed is to be entangled in service, not free. Think about at-will employment. That's where you can be dismissed at any time without cause. The next word is government. We went over this in my private community before. But gouverner means to store or control. Mens equals mind. Literally means mind control, embedded in plain sight. Nice originally meant ignorant or foolish in Old French. Okay, it was nis, nice. Rebranded in modern use to mean polite, but still carries passive connotations. I am not nice. If you're just meeting me, let me tell you and be the first to tell you that I am not nice. So please don't think that you can come over here and beg and plead for stuff if you're not willing to give. Mortgage, from Old French, mort, meaning death, engage, meaning pledge, literally meaning death pledge, a contract until the loan or the borrower dies. Consent, Latin con, meaning with, sentire, to feel or agree. In law, to consent is to voluntarily accept liability. Without consent, no jurisdiction applies. Spell, to arrange letters, writing, and to cast magic, ritual. Every spelling practice is ritualized expression. Words cast meaning into form. Words as frequencies, sound codes and programming. Words are vibrations. Cymatics has proven that sound organizes matter. If you don't know what cymatics is, it's when they play like a certain frequency through words or music, and it like makes an imprint in water or snowflakes, or they did an experiment with rice, like white rice. They put it in two different jars. One was the hate jar, one was the love jar. In the hate jar, every day you say something mean and then seal it back. And in the love jar, every day you say something nice and then seal it back. And they noticed that the rice that was being spoken to disrespectfully was starting to mold and rot faster, and the rice that was being spoken to with love was like blooming and blossoming. And I've actually tried this experiment with my children to teach them how important words are, and yeah, it works. It's true. You guys should do that. It's a good way to teach your children about, the frequency of words and how we should use our words wisely and carefully and with, correct intention. But anyway, English is coded to create distortion. Unlike tonal languages like Sanskrit or Yoruba, English cuts breath and rhythm. The term spelling literally aligns with casting a spell. Each word is a vibrational signature anchoring consciousness to certain frequencies. I've been told a lot of times that the way I talk is a little sing-songy, and I think I probably do that on purpose because I kind of I don't even know, it's something subconscious with why I talk this way. But it's just probably because I've subconsciously know that English is a dead language, and I'm trying to give it a little bit more creation and a little bit more frequency when I speak. Hidden meanings, decoding double entendres. Understand means to stand under, a term of submission. Government comes from Latin, gubernare, to control, men's mind. Civilized comes from civitas, state, empire, which means to be absorbed into empire, not enlightened. When you apply for anything, you're begging. Application equals to fold, toward. Think spells, contracts, energy, redirection. Let's go into why they made English dominant through global spellcasting. The British Empire imposed English through colonization, suppressing native languages worldwide. It's called linguisticide. Erasing indigenous tongues erased entire systems of cosmology, healing, memory, and freedom. If they took the language away from the sovereign indigenous people of every part of the world, it was easy for them to tell them who they wanted them to be inside of their systems by erasing their history and their oral history, because we didn't have history books. We told our history through, verbal stories. So by them removing our native languages, they took away all of our history. The king's English equals the queen's spells. It was never about communication. It was always about control, because they knew, during colonization, that their single goal was to enslave, entrap, and brainwash the minds of those left. And I say those left because they really took out a lot of people. So if you're still living in today's time, just know you're one of the strongest because you're still here. A lot of family lines ended with the people they took out. Breaking the spell. Sovereign speech and word alchemy. Alchemy is a very interesting form of magic that I think all of you guys should look into, because that's what they've been using on us. And it really works. It's about transmuting energy, because that's the true currency. Anyway, practice conscious language. Speak truthfully, intentionally, and with clarity. Relearn original meanings. Use etymology to restore the original energy of words. Avoid legalese unless in sovereign mastery of it. Every document is a ritual. Silence is golden. Speak less, but with more resonance. Observe the energy before you give it shape through words. I have learned over time, because as a kid, I always got in trouble for talking too much in school. But I learned over time that it's best to stay quiet, to listen and observe. So use your words with intention. And when people, a lot of people say, I love the way you present information, I like how you teach. Well, it's because I've learned over time that when I speak, it has to have meaning, and it has to have clarity, and it has to be truthful, and it has to have lots of good intention for it to make sense. Because a lot of people just speak to speak. A lot of people do what I call double speak. And if you listen long enough, they pretty much tell on themselves. Mastery over the matrix. Speak with authority, not automation. Words are wands, use them wisely. We cannot completely abandon the English language. It is a global trade tongue, the programming language of the modern world. But we can master it rather than be mastered by it. Why you can't just stop speaking English? It is the lingua franca of commerce, contracts, and communication across the matrix. Abandon it completely isolates you from the systems you may need to influence or exit. Instead, the goal is to deprogram the way you use it, no longer as a servant, but as a sovereign. Here are some things that you can do. Speak less, but when you do speak, speak with power. Every word you speak casts a vibration. Do not waste spells. Silence is not weakness, it's protection and refinement. Learn the root meaning of words. Strip words of their matrix overlay and uncover the original intent. Ask, what vibration does this word hold? Am I creating or consenting when I say this? Reclaim authority through intention. Speak with purpose, not programming. Swap passive speech like I hope or I'm just for affirming speech like I command, I choose, I create. Use original terms when possible. Say overstand instead of understand. Refer to yourself as man or woman instead of person. Say affirmation rather than belief, because belief implies uncertainty. Break the word down. B-lie-F. Know when to be silent. In legal, social, and energetic contracts, silence can be protection or consent. Know the difference. So this is why I say silent acquiescence is when there's something legal going on and you don't rebut the presumption. That is when you should be speaking. But you shouldn't be just sitting around with your friends and family gossiping about other people. That's wasting words and casting spells on other people. Sometimes the most powerful move is to say nothing and observe what responds. Final thought. Language is a tool, not your identity. You are not the English tongue. You are the source behind the sound. Master the tongue and you master the spell. Speak with sovereign vibration or not at all. If you haven't already smashed that like button, please do it. Leave a comment below. Subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. Turn on post notifications so you'll know every time when a new video is posted. And share this video with anybody. I don't care who it is, because I know these messages are designed specifically. I put intentions on my messages for them only to go to those who are ready for this type of information. If you're interested in any of the Divine Trust Babies DTB community offerings, everything is in the description box below. Also, we're hosting a private trust masterclass this August. So if you're interested in getting your tickets, you want to take advantage of early bird pricing before June 30th, because once June 30th hit, the pricing will reflect the value. This masterclass comes with a custom trust kit. So you'll be getting everything you need to apply everything you'll learn in that class. We also offer email consultations where you can ask 3 questions for $35 with a 72-hour turnaround. It is no phone calls. It is no video calls. It's straight through email. So if you want detailed answers to questions you may have, you definitely want to look in the description box below. I thank you for watching this video, especially if you made it to the end. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.